Welcome to Aligned Entrepreneur Secrets. I am your host, Tracy Birmingham, and I have to say my guest today, I'm fangirling a little bit. I am a ClickFunnels certified partner and I want to say that was 2016 that I got that certification. And Funnelytics has always been a tool that I use. It's everywhere. It's an amazing, amazing tool. And I have the founder here with me today, Mikael Dia. Mikael Dia is the visionary founder and CEO of Funnelytics. Mikael is a literal trailblazer in the digital marketing sphere, renowned for his innovative approach to simplifying and enhancing the way marketers visualize and analyze their funnels. Under his leadership, Funnelytics has transformed into a pivotal tool that helps businesses predict and maximize the profitability of their marketing strategies. His journey from conceptualizing a more intuitive marketing tool to leading a thriving tech company is nothing short of inspiring. I am so excited. Mikael, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. That was a very nice, warm welcome. I'm super excited to be here.
Very good. So tell me, so first of all, for those that don't know, can you just give us a brief introduction to Funnelytics?
Sure, yeah. In the simplest way, Funnelytics is a digital whiteboard that we created. Think of like Miro or your, diagramming tools like Lucidchart, whatever, where you can kind of map out all of your funnels or your customer journeys, basically every touch point in the marketing ecosystem. But then what you can do is you can actually click a button and overlay data on top of it. So it's basically this analytics powered whiteboard that visually shows you how people flow through your website, through your funnels, where the bottlenecks are, your conversion rates, what's working, what's not. So that's fundamentally what Funnelytics allows you to do.
Very cool. And it's like on steroids, right? Like it's that whiteboard on steroids.
It can do a lot of cool things. Like we've evolved it over the years. It started off as a simple kind of diagramming tool with like little page icons and a Facebook icon and a Google icon. You could connect them together to kind of visualize. But now like our team has taken this to a completely different level. The amount of insights that you can get, and because it's crazy, like you don't think about, we think about data, we think about generating and figuring out, okay, what's working, what's not. You talk about systems a lot, and it's like, okay, we visualize these things, but then we kind of have to build like spreadsheets and charts and try to figure out like where's the efficiency, where is it not. And once you actually look at data on a canvas, it opens up this world of possibilities of like, yeah, I don't know. It's just really, really cool.
Well, I think, and I see this too, right? It's the picture.
Yeah,
Right? So we can look at spreadsheets. So many of us look at spreadsheets and our eyes cross, right?
totally.
We don't, we see what we're looking at. We don't understand or comprehend
Totally.
or take in, right? But the second you see it in a picture format and you're like, ah, okay, this is connecting to this, and this is what's causing the breakdown or the success or whatever it is, then it starts to kind of open up for you to
100%.
understand it.
Yeah, I think the stat is like there's I think it's like 65% of the population is visual and visual learners and visual thinkers. And I think the challenge that we've always faced, especially when it comes to data, but in general, but mostly when it comes to data, is that it's designed and built, and these platforms are built by left brain data analytics geeks, right? And I'm part of that crowd, and I love, I've always loved that side, but at the same time, we use our right brain to show that picture, to tell that story, to try to explain to somebody this is what's happening. We don't use numbers or even words, because when you spell it out, people are like, I still can't picture what it is. So, we were able to kind of just find a way to merge this kind of left brain and this right brain and merge them into one thing so that you can still say that same story, but you can say it with numbers behind it as opposed to hopefully somebody comes to your site and hopefully they buy something and this is what it looks like. No, now it's like, here's actually what's happening, and you can visualize it. So yeah.
Well, and the cool thing that I always say is that by having that picture with the data included, you know what levers to pull, right?
Totally.
So whether something's working or not working or in between, you actually can look at that and you see where the breakdowns are. And so it's such a clear to-do list, simply
Oh, for
put,
sure.
right? To be able to go and maximize and optimize or fix quickly.
Yeah, one of the things that we built in this tool that I didn't know how it would pan out. Like I always knew I wanted to see numbers on top of this picture and like conversion rates and how many people move here. But one of the things that we started experimenting with was just how do I visualize these numbers without actually showing a number? So you know how like in there's tools that like have heat maps, like you can kind of you open up a page and you can see, oh, somebody clicked here a lot because it's like glowing red and they scrolled this far, and then and near the bottom it's like blue and they didn't scroll that far, etc. Right? No numbers are there, but it kind of tells you a little bit of a picture. So one of the things we wanted to figure out is, can we use colors and animations and stuff like this to kind of tell that same story, right? So like little dots going across a line that are slow and that are red shows that there's a lot less people versus like a lot of dots and super green. It's like, okay, there's a lot of traffic going here. It took us a while to figure out how to like do it really well, but now like it's really cool because I can show you an entire website, not show you any numbers, and I can just turn on this little flow layer and you'll know precisely, oh, red here, green here. Like, okay, I probably need to fix the red part, right? And it's like it just makes it so much more clear than um, a chart or a spreadsheet. So
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's so
yeah,
great. That's so great. I use the same thing with my systems, right? If it's red, fix it. If it's green,
there you go.
good to go,
Exactly.
right? Like
That's how it has to work. You have to have
simple.
some sort of red, yellow, green light system.
Yeah. Yeah. And simplicity, right? Like just make it as simple as possible so that
It's tough. It's tough to make things simple. Actually, it's probably one of the most challenging things that I face as an entrepreneur, and that I see businesses face. Like we see a lot of data. Obviously, we see a lot of different funnels, and I call them funnels, even though our company is called Funnelytics. It's not really like it's people's websites. It's their growth systems, their growth acquisition engines, and um, we find that it's very clear the people who are growing the fastest have the simplest systems, the simplest ways to acquire customers. Um, but it's actually really not easy to simplify, right? To have this kind of red, yellow, green light. Oh, okay, yeah, just red, fix, green, don't fix. It becomes a lot more challenging to kind of streamline that simplicity.
sure. And so isn't that interesting though, that that's the data that you're seeing is the people who have the simplest systems are the ones that are growing the fastest because I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, like I'm told that I have to be on every single social media channel. I need to be responding at all hours of the day and night. I need
Yep.
to be right, like literally all of the things that we're supposed to be doing as entrepreneurs to bring in clients to fulfill to like I don't even think fulfillment is half usually part of the conversation most of the time. It's usually that front end, the sales and marketing,
Yep.
right? And so what you're saying is maybe to simplify is maybe pick something and get just really good at that.
Hmm. And I think the biggest thing that you just mentioned is getting really good at it. The biggest difference, and I see this a lot because I get it. Like as entrepreneurs, we like to experiment, we like to play, we like to try new things and learn and
Get
and
bored
and
easily.
it's fun, right? And I get that. However, you know what's really boring for most entrepreneurs? doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? But the difference is, even though these systems are simple, the discipline of continuously optimizing, continuously slightly tweaking, just improving a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, that's what makes them work really, really, really well. They never start off working very well. They just start off kind of working. But then it's that discipline of not saying, well, since it's kind of working, let me try something else to see if that thing is going to work a little bit better. It's no, no, no. Let me stay hyper focused on this and let me just keep tweaking these little knobs, one improvement at a time. And then all of a sudden it becomes from kind of working to working really, really well. Once it's working really, really well, that's when they start to think about, okay, how do I get the next one in? And then I'm going to do the same process. And then I'm going to, okay, that one's working really, really well. Let me kind of keep stacking and thinking about it that way.
I love that. And that's so brilliant. And I think like you said, right, it's almost overwhelming, all of the advice we're given on the things that we have to be doing constantly and consistently. But literally doing one thing consistently over time and optimizing as you go is, I would say, the key to success.
Yeah, that's why I'm not on social media anymore, because it's just inundated with stuff that is ultimately just distractions. Well, it's not true. I'm on LinkedIn, and that's the only place kind of where I post or do something. But it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to take somebody's advice when their advice may not be wrong, right? It actually probably isn't wrong.
Right.
It's just, do you have enough discipline to ignore it and to basically say, I'm just going to stick to this one thing and I'm just going to keep going. And I'm not going to chase the next shiny object or the next kind of thing.
Yeah. I agree completely. And I'm the same. I feel like I'm on for my business, my clients, right? I'm on computers all day long, and I step away at the end of the day, and
That's
social
it.
media is not a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to get away from the screens. So tell me, who would be kind of the perfect client for you? Like where would they be in their business? Like what would they be doing? What types of things can you help with? Like what would be that ideal person?
Yeah, you know what? It took us a really, really long time to figure this out. Mostly because for a long time, I knew what the vision for Funnelytics was. I always knew what the vision for Funnelytics was, but I didn't know what it actually was, like what the product was. I just knew what I wanted it to do, right? But I didn't know who it was for. I knew it was kind of for me when I first started. I built this tool for myself. And over the years, it evolved a lot. It started off with me speaking to myself, 2 years back. This was back in 2018-ish, 2019. So I used to run an agency, and we were doing low seven figures in our agency. We were building funnels and building kind of these marketing systems for our clients, and we were doing everything from the ads to the landing pages to actually running the traffic, et cetera, and optimizing. So at the very beginning, Funnelytics was basically me building a tool for myself and then
Right.
speaking to an audience who was me a few years ago when I was running my agency.
Right.
What it did, though, was it started attracting a lot of people who wanted to be where I was, which is they were kind of, starting their agency, very low six figures in their agency, not really their systems in place, not really anything there. But then they aspired to kind of get there. So what it caused when it came to Funnelytics was we have this really cool visual tool. Everybody used our mapping tool because it helped them kind of close clients. Nobody used our analytics tool because it was too complicated. It was over their head. They weren't at that stage. The clients they were serving didn't even have traffic, right? So it became kind of this weird balance. Then what happened was we started to shift and we said, okay, we know it's not these smaller agencies who are just getting started, who are serving these smaller clients. So maybe it's actually more of these bigger businesses, these kind of $3 to $30 million businesses who have a lot of traffic and who care about, optimizing things. So we started going after them and we started acquiring them. We started getting customers in that bucket. But then we found something very interesting. We started realizing, okay, why is it that we have two e-commerce businesses or two coaching businesses, and one of them is using the tool all the time while the other one is like churning pretty quickly, but they're both the same size, they're both have similar traffic, etc. So we started realizing that it wasn't actually about the business, it was about the user. Who is the person logging into this platform and using this platform consistently? And that's where we started realizing, oh man, the problem with businesses is their marketing team is completely different. Someone may have a marketing team that is focused on content, and another one may be a little bit more on performance and ads, right? So that little difference, even though they're both at the same size and growing, one would look at this tool as a tool where I can log in and make some quick analytical decisions, while the other one looked at it as a way to visualize, but the analytics didn't make that much sense. They didn't have that person in-house per se. So we still found that, okay, that range is correct for us, but it's about the user. And then as we started kind of keep evolving and all that stuff, we started realizing, okay, it's actually because it's the user, where are the users who serve these types of businesses and do it consistently?
Yeah.
And that's where we found our sweet spot for Funnelytics is really these kind of million-ish dollar agencies who serve these kind of $3 to $30 million businesses. They do kind of the marketing aspect, the full kind of funnel marketing for them, but they're the users. They're the ones who are logging in and doing this consistently. They're planning out a new strategy for their client. They're measuring the results. They're reporting on it. They're making decisions as to what to optimize next. So that was my very long-winded roundabout way to tell you how we kind of had to streamline and refine this process over and over and over again to really kind of pinpoint who is our core customer.
I love it. And so it sounds like what you've come to at this point is those consultants, those agency owners maybe who are working with multiple clients, but they're the ones that are doing kind of full service marketing. It sounds like for those.
What's interesting about what you said is, and this is a really good lesson for anyone listening in terms of like really being hyper clear on your ideal customer profile. So it's not agency owners.
Okay.
If they're an agency owner and they're using our tool, they're probably too small. It's usually an agency that has a director of marketing already, right? So the owner himself is past the delivery process.
Okay.
Because the user themselves is actually that director of marketing. It's that strategist who's responsible for the client success and the client strategy, etc. And usually if the owner is still that person, they're typically too small and they're not serving big enough businesses, which is very interesting. It took us a long time to figure these things out, but
all right,
yeah,
very good. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's say that they are part of that target market. They're not the agency owner, but they're the consultant or the digital marketing CMO, maybe?
Yeah, the strategist, the head of marketing, whatever, the director of marketing, they kind of go different titles, but yeah.
So tell me, where can they learn more? Where can they find you? Where should they go now?
Yeah, I mean, Funnelytics.io is where you can learn more about our tool. Again, I like to post and hang out on LinkedIn. If I post anything, it's typically there, so you can kind of connect with me there. But yeah, that's typically where you can learn more.
Very good. Thank you so much. I will have that link in the show notes so anybody can click that's listening to this in the future. And thank you so much for being here. This was a really interesting, good conversation.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And anyone listening, go to funnelytics.io. It is an amazing tool, obviously by an amazing founder and a really wonderful team, and you won't regret it. Thank you very much.